Hi, I'm Janice Banther, and today we're going to be talking about Doulaing Doulas. Sounds kind of weird, doesn't it? Maybe you've never heard of that phrase before. Maybe you have. Maybe where you live, that's kind of like a negative connotation to the word, but it really is not. There is a very positive connotation to that word, and there are some doula practices that use this regularly in their practice. For those of you who are fortunate to live in an area where there are a lot of other doulas, and you're not just the lone doula in the area, you may have one or two or three or maybe more doulas that work with you in your practice. And it may be in your letter of agreement. If I know I've heard of some people doing this where after so many hours, maybe it's 18, 24 hours, whatever, that a new doula will come to relieve you, the doula that's there to begin with, because after 24 hours, for some doulas, that's all there is left in her. There's nothing left in her to help doula with her and still be sharp for the mother. So people have that in their letters of agreement. Also, you may just get called from a family member or somebody who was in your childbirth class, or someone from the hospital saying, we have a patient here who really needs a doula, she's in active labor. Or you may have a family member who calls you and says, I've heard about you, my daughter needs a doula, she needs one desperately, she's really in labor right now, could you please come and be there? And you may be at a place where you can do this. What I'm doing is telling you, how do you walk into a birth when the labor has really already gotten into active labor, and maybe you're relieving another doula, so you're just going to be passing each other, or else you're walking into a room where there's active labor involved, and obviously there's something has happened and they feel as if they need a doula. What you don't want to do is to open the door and go, hi, I'm Janice Banther and I'm here to be your doula. You don't want to do that. What you need to do is walk in the room, walk in quietly, and find out what is her rhythm. What is she doing in her labor? What's her rhythm? What's her ritual? How is she handling her labor? And what you need to do is trying to match that. So as you walk in real close, walk into the door, and you kind of stay not too far from the door as you walk in, and you let the room know, hi, I'm Janice Banther. And try and match how your tone is to how loud everybody else is talking in the room. If it's a very loud birth, and I've been to some very loud births where everybody in the room, all the family and everybody was extremely loud, and I've been to most of my births where once they hit active labor, it's fairly quiet in the room, except for the moaning or the noises that the mother is making. So you need to match that and find out what it is. If it's a tone that's a very soft tone, you want to be able to match that. And if you're switching doulas from one doula to the other, you don't want to just all of a sudden walk up to that bed and be next to that doula, and that doula is saying goodbye, and then you are there. That's very hard for the mother to change that in her head with her hormones the way they are, and also the ritual that she's going through and the rhythm that she's having in her body as she's progressing in labor. So what you want to do is find out what she's doing, and then slowly walk in closer and closer. You've introduced yourself to the room. I'm Janice. I'm going to be your doula. And just slowly do this, and walking in and getting closer and douling with the doula that's there. And then kind of slowly, as that doula exits, then you take over the primary role as a doula, and the other doula leaves. And then you are the doula. And you're mimicking how she was doing her breathing before, how she was handling her contractions, her movement, whatever she was doing to help herself to get through her contractions. You want to be able to mimic that and be able to start from that place on. If there's no doula there at all, you may be the one that needs to place order in the room to help her find her rhythm, to help her find her ritual. At the same time, still, you can't just run up to her bed and start doulaing. You've got to walk in slowly. You got to approach her slowly and let her know that you are there for her and that you're going to be there for her, but you're going to reach it to where she is. So when she has a contraction, you stop talking, let her say what she needs to say to you after the contraction's over, and talk in between the contractions. And then find out where she is, what's going on with her labor, how's she feeling, what she's thinking about, different things that you usually ask about your moms. And then from there, you follow on to how you're going to doula. Now, this may not affect most of the people who might be watching this, but you never know. You just might get that phone call one day from a person that who is in your childbirth class, and they've now said, I need somebody here now. I've had that happen to me in the past where I had no idea they would ever call me, but it was because of a negative thing that had happened at the birth that I was being called. I knew when the father called me and said, hi, he told me his name. I said, well, how are things going? He's, well, she's in labor. Okay, she's 7 centimeters. Thinking something's got to be wrong if he's calling me and she's at 7 centimeters. And there was something very tragically wrong. And he asked if I could please come to the birth. And I said, yes, I can be there. And it was possible where I could. So don't just take this and say, this is something that has nothing to do with me. You never know, in the future it might. And that way you'll be prepared when you are coming in as a fresh doula for somebody else who needs a rest, or else for a couple who is having a baby and has not had a doula yet at all. I hope this is a help to you. If you have comments that you would like to make about this, or things that you would like to add, please put it in the comment section below. Also, if you have any questions for me, all the information is right here below the video, and I'd be glad to talk to you and answer any questions that you have. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.